A cross on the hill. Should it be there or shouldn't it be there? Well, that's a question that went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and yesterday the court rendered a decision. It's a case that has a long history. The cross was first put up in 1934 by some people who had fought in World War I. They were returning and they put the cross up in order to commemorate the death of a number of people who died in the war. Over the years, the cross has remained there. It's been refurbished. Well, in 1999 and then in 2000, some questions were raised about whether the cross should be there. And people were saying it's on government land. We don't think it should be there because government cannot support or endorse a religion, and this is clearly a religious symbol. So a case got underway, and it was a case in which people said essentially the cross needs to be removed, and the effort was made to have that happen. Well, the case moved along through the court system, and again, this started way back in the year 2000. Here we are in the year 2010, 10 years to get all the way through the court system and up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Well, in the interim, Congress did a number of things, and one of the things Congress did was it said, you know, this is on government land, it won't be an issue if it's on private property, so they worked to deal with the veterans of foreign wars, and they said, hey, here's what we'll do. You've got some land in that general vicinity, we'll make a swap. We'll swap this land that the cross is on for land that you guys own. Federal government will take over that land that you own, you'll take over this land, and now there's not any issue, okay? Well, some people thought that handled the issue because now, once a cross is sitting on private land, it's not being endorsed by government. Well, when one of the courts looked at this as it was going through the appellate process, they said, you know, this really is a little fishy because that was government land, and the issue was this cross on government land by simply making it private land while you've changed the character. Really, that's kind of a sham act, and they immediately disregarded that, and they said, we're viewing this as if it were on government land. Well, it got up to the U.S. Supreme Court, and these issues are tough. And to show you how tough it is, when the court decided this yesterday, it did so in a 5-4 decision. 5 justices on one side, 4 justices on the other side, and believe it or not, there were 6 separate opinions. 4 opinions stating why the cross should remain, 2 opinions saying it should not remain. The decision was split along what some people thought was a very traditional right-left basis. But in reality, there were a lot of issues here. And it really depended on how people viewed this. Justice Kennedy wrote a decision for himself and came away saying that this cross was there, that it was originally on federal land, but the character of the land was changed when the land swap took place, that the lower courts really ignored that too readily, and that now, since it is on private property, it can't be viewed as a government endorsement of religion because it's not. It's sitting on private property. In addition, he said there's a long community involvement with this as a symbol that was directed towards memorializing veterans of the First World War, and therefore it needs to be viewed in a broader context. Well, folks on the other side said, no, it doesn't have to be viewed in a broader context because bottom line, it was put up on government property. Government can't support a religion, can't establish a religion. That was essentially what was going on here because it was a cross, it was a religion, it was on government property. Therefore, it should have disappeared. As you can see, here we have people very schooled in the law, gave it a lot of consideration, and even there was significant differences of opinion. It's a kind of case that really could go either way. And if you were to decide this, if you had had the opportunity to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court, where would you have gone on this issue? Again, it demonstrates how difficult the separation of church and state and the fact that under the Constitution, government can't establish a religion, how difficult that is to actually enforce on a day-to-day basis. Hey, we bring you these stories every week, so you understand the law and you know how to make it work for you. I'm David Allen.